Hello, YouTube. This is Nick with Makers Metal, and I'm coming to you today because I wanted to talk about a topic that some of you may be interested in is how do you schedule a side hustle around your full-time job? Now, my particular circumstances, I work in an office, I do business to business sales full time, and I my side hustle revolves around lawn mowing and pressure washing, house washing, things along those lines. If I ever did make it to doing this full time, I'd love to be able to offer land clearing and forestry as a winter activity since I can't mow and do things like that. And where I'm at in the Midwest, we don't get a ton of snow. So, in my opinion, at least at the moment, it doesn't make sense to um, invest in a lot of snow removal equipment. And there's a couple individuals out there that I've watched on YouTube. One, they seem like they have similar stories to me. So I'll kind of throw a shout out to them. As you got V Belt and Son. You also have Cole Morse. I think he's out of like Indiana, and he does. He has an interesting side gig, or I think it's like maybe a full time job for him now. But his situation is probably a little bit different. I know he said he worked in HVAC before going into the land clearing, and so my current employment might offer me a little bit more flexibility than others, but everybody's going to be a little bit different. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little preview of what my schedule may look like in 2024. We're still weeks away from getting into the busy season, but let's take a look and see what you think. Um, Going to kind of break this down into three different areas. So you have your daily planner, a weekly planner, as well as a monthly planner. And when coming up with the schedule, there's going to be certain things that you're going to need to pay attention to. Probably two more important questions, or a couple of more important questions is, what works with your home life? I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So my schedule these days looks different than my side hustle schedule looked maybe just 3 years ago. So you also have to consider, what does your customer need? That's going to be one of the more pressing issues. If they have certain time frame or commitments that they need things done by, that's going to be part of their consideration when they choose a vendor. There also could be, considerations for weather, depending on what area you're in, how much time do you need to complete these jobs. So, but let's kind of go into it here. So with each day, I kind of break it into three things that I can do: morning, lunch, and after work. Typically, I don't work or go work in the mornings by mowing or any means, but mornings is where I kind of set out, what I want to do or get accomplished that day. Um, you know, One of my things that I'm focusing in on this year is going to be kind of getting back into working out. It's been a little bit, with kids and everything like that. I just don't get as much time to do what I like to do. So, I want to try to do that. But also, my goal is to try to not miss time with my family as well. So, um, that's one of the reasons why on certain days of the week I have the flexibility of going out on lunch break and mowing 2 yards or doing a workout at that time, so I don't miss anything. After work, I can also go mow a couple yards depending on the day of the week or find time to work out as well. So, um, you know, just kind of consider that when you're doing a side hustle, you have to, and especially once you get busy, year one of my side hustle was not that busy compared to now. I think on my weekly calendars, I've got 17 or 18 yards to mow, and then my goal is to be doing 3 or 4 washings a week as well. So you have to get a little bit creative and trying to find time for yourself, find time to relax. Again, my priority is I don't want to be missing out on things at home. So getting into the calendar, a weekly calendar here, I kind of broke it into two separate weeks because you'll see that I do have some clients in red who are highlighted. Uh, what that means is they are biweekly customers. I know a lot of companies don't like dealing with those, but These biweekly customers I've had for a while. They're super simple yards. They're convenient yards, which is, I think, a key thing. If they were not convenient and I was driving all over the place, that'd be a different story. But, with my business model and how it's working, I think it's fine for me to have biweekly customers. Um, so you also see Wednesday and Thursday are highlighted in yellow. What that means is, I do work from home 3 days a week. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, those are the days that I have some flexibility to go out and mow some yards on lunch break. So Tuesday, for example, I'm going to go mow those 2 yards. They are probably 2 or 3 minutes away from my home. Both of those yards may take me a total of 45 minutes to mow. And I don't know the exact pricing off them at the top of my head, but I could go out and make a quick $65, $70. Easy peasy, come back and get back on the computer. Wednesdays and Thursdays, though, I go to the office. And so one of my considerations for when I was planning these days is, I'm trying to reduce drive time. And, especially on Wednesdays, some of those yards are out of my way, but they are good sized yards. They are open lots. There are definitely areas that I would love to focus in more on if I ever did do this full time. So I didn't want to give up those yards. So it makes sense to I'm out of the house already. I'm just going to go mow those yards after work. So that's really the one day of the week that my family is going to probably eat dinner without me. I'm going to come home a little bit later on those days. Maybe Thursdays as well, but I guess it just depends on the Thursdays. But, those Thursday yards, they are close to me, but they're on the way home from my office job. My office job, depending on traffic, I can get there in 12, 15 minutes, something like that. So it just makes sense to come do those yards on my way home from the office those days. When in terms of client considerations, those are the reasons why I put these customers on Mondays and Fridays. So on Mondays, I can maybe do those yards on break. I'm gonna get a new mower, so we'll see how much time it saves me. But those Monday yards, or one of the Monday yards, they want me to bag the clippings. I know it's not always desirable, but I've been doing her house for a couple years now. It's not big. The only problem is it is on a corner lot, so it does take more time to do edging and things like that. But her yard pickup comes on Tuesday. And for those of you that have bagged clippings before, after like 2 days, that stuff starts to smell pretty bad. So I put them on a Monday, and I can just go put those yard waste out for her, and then all she has to do is bring them in. Friday, obviously those individuals, one of them that, they do tend to host quite a bit on the weekends, so they weren't too keen on me coming on a Saturday. Most of my customers, they know that this is not my full-time job, so they kind of understand the scheduling flexibility. Obviously, if there's rain, I've never had anybody throw a fit over that. But so I put them in on a Friday because if they do host a lot or have a lot of events at their home on the weekends, it's better to do that on a Friday, so I'm not interrupting anything on a Saturday or Sunday. And if I put them on the Monday schedule and they host something the following Sunday, by that time, their yard's going to need to mow again. So it just makes sense to put them on that Friday route and just go do them after work. The next week's schedule is going to be pretty similar, except I'm just trading out the biweekly customers. So again, I can do some of those yards on break. They're super close to me. Thursday, I cut back a little bit and only have 2 yards to do instead of 4 like the previous Thursday. So in those days, I could be home by 5 o'clock or so if I get to leave the office, say around 4 o'clock. So now going out and looking at the monthly calendar, I've also got to find time to schedule those house washings in there. So just as a quick mock-up, I could do some of those house washings on a Tuesday afternoon or after work, depending on where it's at or how big it is. I'm not doing too much mowing on Saturdays, and so that leaves me time to maybe do 1 or 2 washes. And also leaves me time to do washes on Sunday too. Now Sundays, obviously, on those other calendars, they didn't have anything booked because you do got to make sure you have yourself a buffer. There's always going to be something that comes up, whether it be sick kids, some mechanical delays, weather. having that buffer is going to help you not get too far behind. So, especially my youngest son, he's only 3, so he does still nap, at least at the moment. So I can go to church on Sundays. I can come home, spend some time with the kids. They take a nap. I can do 1 or 2 houses, come back, not miss a beat. That's the most important to me, and that's kind of why I came up with this calendar. So, you know, I hope this was beneficial to you all. I wanted to again just provide some insight in terms of how I do it. Maybe this is relevant to you, maybe not. Everybody's going to have different priorities, though, and I think that's going to be the key. Um, Finding out what is important to you, what's important to your significant other too. So it's not just you. What's important to your kids. Um, you know, and come up with those priorities. You also got to make sure you find time for yourself. If you're working 40 plus hours a week at your main job and then you're doing another 15 to 25 hours a week at your second job, you can't run yourself too thin. So, you got to take that into mind. So, for those of you that are interested, this is only my 3rd video. There's going to be some more business content coming out. Some of my previous content was more about the spiritual journey as well. But, please, like, comment, subscribe, ask any questions. I'm here. I decided to make this channel because I wanted to try to impact somebody else. So, I'm always wanting to respond back to comments and help you grow and obviously keep myself accountable with this as well. So, appreciate the time. More videos coming out here soon. A lot of different content that I've got planned in terms of financial goals for 2024, personal goals for 2024. And then obviously once the actual season starts, we'll actually see some mowing content and house washing content, things along those lines. So hope you have a good day. Enjoy the weekend, and look forward to seeing you guys out there again.